name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, what I like to do is I want to talk about timelines and time frames of Noah's flood, Great Flood, and I'm also going to point out some facts on time frames and timelines and give out information on what to look for if you're going to decide to do research on any subject. Now, as you know today, society, when we look at time frames, we look at our time like our time frame today. Here's our time frame of today. If we look at this, we can see there's 30 days in one month, sometimes 31. Certain months there's 28 or 29. It depends every leap year. But anyway, 30 days in one month, 4 weeks in one month, 12 months in 1 year, 365 days in 1 year. This is based on our time frame today. Now, when you do research and when people, the scientists and stuff like that, when they do the research, this is what they base it on our time frame, as you see we have today. But they don't take consideration that our time frame that we have today was not like that past 700 BC, because 700 BC is exactly when 2 months was added to our time frame. So from 700 BC on back, there was only 10 months in 1 year, because that's why the first year, and even in like in the Hebrew Bible, they'll start their new year off in March 1st, because March was actually the first month, because you went from March straight through December, 10 months. January and February wasn't added to the calendar year until 700 BC. And with people doing research and scientists and stuff like that, doing research and just basing everything completely on the 12 months in 1 year, 365 days, everything that they pull from that, even from 700 BC back, it will be false information. Now, you can use this time frame from the present time now until 700 BC as you date back, but then when you get to 700 BC, you're going to have to start working with a 10-month calendar year, not a 12 months. So anything that they calculate from 700 BC back, like Egypt and other ancient history and stuff, all that information that they're pulling from is actually false information, because they're basing everything on the 12 months in 1 year. Here's what we have to base everything on when it comes to time frames and timelines, even like the story of Noah. In the time of Noah and the Great Flood, there was actually 10 months in 1 year. There was 21 days in 1 month, 3 weeks in 1 month, 10 months in 1 year, 210 days in 1 year. Now that's 155 days less than what we have in our time frame. This is why it seems like men lived older back then and stuff, because they was basing their time frame on 210 days in a year, and our time frame is 365 days in 1 year, which, like I pointed out, 155 extra days that was added on to our calendar year. When they added January and February into the calendar year in 700 BC, that's when everything started changing. That's when we have leap year every 4 years as well. This is why when you look at the calendar years, this is why a lot of people don't believe in the story of Noah, because it doesn't fit. Because if you do the calculations that's told in the Bible and you base it on our time frame, Noah and all the animals and his family and everybody else was on Noah's Ark would have been on the Ark for 316 days total. This is why a lot of people don't believe in the story, because there's no way that all these people can last this long on an ark with all these animals and everything else for 316 days. But when we go back to the original time frame, as was in Noah's time, we will find out there was 316 days they was on the ark. They was actually on the ark for 190 days total. And if you look at the time frames as well, it also fits into this calendar year, which is 10 months in 1 year. So see, when you do research, you have to base on facts, and you have to find them facts, no matter how much you have to search for it, no matter how long you have to search for it. Eventually, when you find them facts, you can see and you can realize, and it makes more sense when you start fitting in timelines and time frames, just like right here. Now we know that Noah and the family, excuse me, and his family was just on the ark for 190 days, not 316 or even 370 something days that people's claimed in the research. So see, now we're taking off the false information now and adding facts. Now, I want to pull this up right here. Well, before I pull this up, I want to show something else too. Like our calendar itself, okay? Everybody says, well, Sunday is a Sabbath day. Actually, it's not. Actually, beginning of the day starts when the sun sets. That's beginning of a new day until the sun rises, until the sun sets the following day. Even in our calendar year, even in our calendars, it's marked as Saturday as a Sabbath day, not the Sunday. Beginning of the week starts on a Sunday. Everybody points it at Monday. No, it's not. It's actually Sunday. Actually, beginning the Sabbath day, according to the Bible and according to the time frames, the Sabbath day starts when the sun sets on Friday night until the sun sets on Saturday night. That's your Sabbath day because it was dark before it was light. So that's your true Sabbath day. It was actually when the sun sets on Friday night, that's beginning Sabbath day until the sun sets on Saturday. That's when Sabbath day is over with. Now, is this the one here? Yeah. Okay, in this time frame here, just like a lot of people don't know, we can pull a lot of information from this. This is from the beginning, starting with Adam to the time of Noah. Now, a lot of people, when they do this kind of research, they'll sit there and say, oh, this, that, this, that, but they don't calculate of, the time in between the beginning and the time of Noah and time of flood. So what I did was, and in the Bible, we're only going to hear or see or read, I should say, about the firstborn of every person. Now, and beginning with Adam, they put Seth down as the firstborn because I know Cain and Abel was actually twins. They was born at the same time, but Cain killed Abel, so they was basically wiped off, being Adam's first son. So they start off with Adam, then Seth. Seth's firstborn was Enos, and so on and so on and so on. So right here in this time frame here, we could find out that when we do these dates of how old these men were when they was born and their firstborn was born, and so forth, we could find out that actually Adam, from the beginning, died 131 years before Noah was born. And we also find out that Seth, which is Adam's son, died 29 years before Noah was born. And then we can go so on and so on and so on. Also, by these time frames, we could find out a lot more information. Just like we know from the beginning, Adam lived to be 930 years old. Well, he died 131 years before Noah was born. So he placed 930 years of Adam's life right with 131 years of the time of when Adam died to the time of Noah. That places it 1,061 years. So from the time of the beginning, starting with Adam, to the time of Noah, and the beginning of Noah, was 1,061 years. Also, by this time frame, we can also find out that by calculating in math, we find out that Noah's father died 5 years before the flood, and Noah's grandfather died at the time of the flood. Now, when we go in the second timeline and time frame, this will start from Noah all the way to the time of Abraham. Again, we can find out more information from this as well. Now, as you see here at the top, right here, Noah lived 950 years. His son, Shem, lived for 502 years. And then so on and so on and so on. By this time frame, and by going over calculations and doing math again, come to find out that when Abraham was born, Noah was 892 years old, as you see right here, Abram. It was the beginning, his name was Abram, but then it came to become Abraham. Now, also by this time frame, we can also base on some more information like Noah, when he passed away, Abraham was actually 57 years old. So Noah was alive during the time of Abraham until he was 57 years old. Now, Noah's son, Shem, which was the middle child actually of Noah, which I'll make another video when I do on who built the ark, where I'm going to talk about the order of Noah's sons and as it was told in the Bible, and how old they were how old Noah was when he was born, and how old they were when the time of the flood. But anyway, basing it on this right here, like I said, Shem was alive during Abraham's time and even after Abraham's time, because Abraham lived to be 120 years old. So see, there's a lot of information that you can pull from this stuff. This is, like I said, people don't realize it. Just like, let me see, that's age line. It's somewhere in here. Well, I ain't got it up on this. But anyway, just like I said, there's a lot of information that we can pick and find from doing timelines and time frames. And there's a lot of information in there that we can pull and gives us more insight, more detail about how Noah lived and on Noah's life. Just like I pointed out that Adam lived 100, from the time of the beginning to the time of Noah was 1,061 years. And now, with the flood being in the 600th year of Noah's life, that means from the beginning to the time of the great flood was actually 1,661 years. Like I said, there's a lot of information we could pull out from these time frames and timelines. And like I said, when you do when you're doing research, you can use our time frame, which is this right here. We can use this time frame here, 12 months in a year, 365 days in a year. When we're doing any research from the present back to 700 BC, we can use this time frame. But if we're going to do research past before 700 BC on down and to the beginning, we're going to have to use a different time frame then, and then we're going to have to use this time frame here. So we're going to have to use two time frames, not only the 12 month from present till then, but then from 600 BC on back when you have to use 10 months in 1 year. That's the only way you're going to calculate the true dates on any subject that you're going to study. And that way you can actually pull out the facts, not, theory or whatever anybody else wants to call them. But to me, it's like when you do research, you have to get the facts first. Once you get the facts first, then you can find more information out. And when you start doing research, you can calculate your research to be more fact than fiction, because as you see here, we have to look at facts like 10 months from just 10 months in 1 year, 210 days in 1 year, from the beginning to 700 BC. Then from 700 BC on to the present, there's 12 months, 365 days in 1 year. And this, like I said, in this video here, I just want to make timelines and talk a little bit about Noah and the flood. Well, Noah's information that we can pull from these time frames and time frames we have to look at when we do research. Thank you and have a pleasant day.